Hello and good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are around the world, and welcome to today's Postgrad webinar service. Just giving everyone a few moments just to join live. It is a live session. Today's date is the 11th of June 2026. So if you do see anything that is date sensitive in the future, please bear that in mind. So if you are looking for September 2026, let's say, and you're watching this in October, it's very unlikely that that will still be available, but there will be different options available, of course, so please communicate. I'm joined today by a whole host of members of staff at the University of Aberdeen. But before I do hand you over, a reminder, there is the Q&A, there is the chat facility. Please put all your questions in there because once we've heard a little bit from the University of Aberdeen, there will be a panel discussion. There will then be an opportunity to ask any questions through myself during a Q&A towards the end. But for now, I'd like to hand you over to Jenna Stewart. She'll be taking you through the next 5-10 minutes, and then there'll be the Q&A towards the end. Jenna, over to you.
Thanks, Gareth. Welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us today. So just a bit more detail on my part of the session today. We're going to go over the short course route to master's study at the University of Aberdeen. So the session on the presentation will last about 10 minutes, and then I'll pass over to my colleague Lisa, and she's going to take you through a Q&A with our student panel. So we've got 3 students who are currently studying, so it would be great if you do have any questions for them, and we'll get to those as well. So I imagine we'll have a range of learners joining us from different disciplines today. We might find that there's some pretty specific questions as we go along. And due to the length of the session and the fact that we probably will have quite a varied audience, we'll endeavour to answer any general questions regarding the short course route, but any more specific questions we'll either answer afterwards or we can direct you to the right point of contact to answer your question. So this is just a bit of an overview of what we're going to cover today. So we're obviously going to cover what is the short course route to a master's study, how you transfer to a programme. We'll look a little bit in detail about our degree scheduler, orientation and induction for our online students. Like I said, we'll have the student panel and then any questions we'll try and answer at the end. But like Gareth says, please do pop any questions into the chat, into the Q&A area. Some of my colleagues are already there, so they can answer questions as we go through as well. So the short course route to master's study allows you to start your postgraduate studies without committing to the full degree programme. You'll start with a self-evaluating short course, and that means that you decide whether you have the ability to complete the course based on the information that we've provided. It's a big decision to commit to further study and to go from a short course to a full programme. And this route offers flexibility where you're in control. You may also be in a situation where you don't meet the formal programme entry requirements. Usually, you require an undergraduate degree in a relevant discipline to enter postgraduate programmes. However, the short course route provides an alternative access if you can successfully complete 2 short courses or 30 credits. Now, please bear in mind that there could be additional requirements for entry to some of our programmes, and you must check that in advance with the relevant discipline. Typically, our short courses result in 15 credits per course, and for most programmes, you'll require a minimum of 30 credits, complete 30 credits before you can enrol. The full-time timescales listed here relate to on-campus study, as there's a limited number of full-time options available for online study. And part-time online learning offers the flexibility to complete a programme over a longer period. You'll notice the plus sign following the part-time duration, and this highlights the flexibility of studying online. And there can be different reasons why things could take you a little bit longer, such as work commitments, health, or life events. Your tutor and our support services will support you should you need more time to complete your qualification. Now, we're constantly adding programmes to the short course route to ensure that you have the most up-to-date list, but it's best for you to look at our Discover page to make sure you're getting the latest information. One of my colleagues will also be able to add that link to the chat, and you'll be able to click through that and review it at your leisure, as well as the follow-up email that we're going to send you will have that information available to you. You're eligible to transfer to a programme after the completion of the relevant short courses. And completion means once your course results have been verified by an exam board, not just when you've completed the course. Eligible also does not mean that the transfer is immediate. We'll contact you during your studies to ask if you're interested in transferring to the programme, but you can continue taking further online short courses from your intended programme until you do transfer. Now, should you wish to upgrade to the programme, you can apply to transfer and we'll process your transfer once you meet the eligibility criteria. We'll always support you through that process and we'll provide you with all of the information that you need along the way. And if you're taking the short course route, you do not need to apply for the master's degree separately through your applicant portal, and instead we'll fast track you onto your online master's, providing that you meet that eligibility criteria. Your username and your access to My Aberdeen, which is our virtual learning environment, will stay the same, and you don't need to set up anything new, as you'll already be on the system. The new programme will just be added to your profile. Now, on the screen here, you can see a snapshot of our degree scheduler, and you'll be able to use this to plan your studies when you upgrade to a programme. Most programmes consist of mandatory and optional units, and the credits are viewed on the individual courses as you build your individual programme. You'll also be able to see the associated cost of each unit appear in the blocks on the screen there. That means that you'll be able to budget for your courses across the full programme period, and you need to pay per course through the site in advance of the start date, which offers you flexibility in managing budgets for your study. Now, when you upgrade to the programme, you'll be invited to orientation and induction, and this is a great place for you to be able to meet key members of staff, both academic and support, and to find out more about your programme and course choices. You'll also get the opportunity to meet and get to know fellow students. With a full programme, there is far more opportunity to develop relationships and benefit from peer support. It's also a great opportunity to learn more about the support services that are included, things like the library and our career centre. And through our career service, you're able to organise online meetings and seek advice on things like preparing or updating CVs or interview techniques. And they also offer virtual internships, which you may like to consider applying for to be able to engage with potential employers. Semester timetables will be available by early September or January, allowing you to see your online lectures and tutorials so that you can plan around your other commitments, such as work or family life. And remember, as an online learner, you will have far more flexibility around your learning, and you'll be able to take things at your own pace. And you'll also be able to see your assessment dates, so you'll be able to manage your time and workload in the lead up to submission dates. So why would you want to upgrade to a programme? Well, there are some courses that you can only access when you have upgraded, so things like a dissertation or project being a great example. And you'll be able to graduate with an award from an institution of academic excellence spanning 5 centuries. So you're definitely in expert hands. Wherever you are in the world, you can also come and join your fellow students to celebrate your achievement in the grounds of King's College in Aberdeen, or you can choose to graduate online. Our online learners get the same opportunities as our on-campus students. So thank you for taking the time to hear about our short course route to master's study. I'm now going to hand over to my colleague Lisa so she can take you through some questions with our student panel. But do pop in any questions specific to the short course route as we go through that session, and we'll be able to get back to that at the end.
Morning, everybody. Yeah, hi, everybody. I've got 3 students with us this morning. So Camilla, Gabor, and Vishar are here to talk about their experience of studying with us through the short course route. So we'll just start off by letting them all introduce themselves, tell us a little bit about what they're learning and where they are in the world today. So Camilla, can I get you to kick us off?
Yes, of course, and good morning. I'm LLM candidate at University of Aberdeen, and my journey started through the route of short courses. And I'm now also a qualified lawyer in Italy, and I studied and I'm studying in between the UK and Italy because when I started my course, my first course, I was a research assistant at the University of Aberdeen. And so, the reason why I chose Aberdeen was because fundamentally, at that moment, I was based fundamentally in Plymouth, and for me, it was impossible to be an on-site student for this course online. Moreover, through the route of short courses, I had the opportunity to obtain qualifications and titles through the route to pay as you learn. And at the same time, this structure provided me with flexibility that I needed at that time. So, thank you.
That's great. Thank you very much for introducing yourself, Camilla. Could I ask Gabor, could you come in and introduce yourself next?
Yes. So my name is Gabor, and I live in Berlin, Germany. I studied 2 years at the University of Aberdeen online, studied psychology in the workplace through the short course route. And to me, it was important because I have a background in HR, so this is quite relevant for my work and also very much interested in my personal life. Um, so yeah, basically I did that for this reason. I've just completed my studies a couple of weeks ago, so I'm quite happy about it.
That's great. Thank you very much, Gabor. And Vishar, can I get you to come and introduce yourself as well?
Hi, I'm Vishar, and I'm studying with University of Aberdeen Business School, and my concentration is in finance. So I began my journey with the economics of finance course, and then passed two prerequisite exam and got through to the master degree proper within a year.
That's great. Thank you very much for introducing yourself there as well. It's really exciting having all three of you today because I'm hoping at the end we'll have some questions from our audience, but I'm hoping that I can just kind of ask some questions that we have as well for you. Some of you have maybe already touched on this a little bit, but what was it that made you choose to study online instead of on campus? Who would like to go for that question?
I can start if you want.
Sure, Camilla. Actually, Camilla, your mic is a little bit fuzzy, so I wonder, could you maybe adjust it a little bit so I can hear you?
Yeah. Okay, so can you hear me now?
That's a little better, thank you.
Okay, thank you. So fundamentally, at that time when I started, I was again based in Plymouth, on the other side of Aberdeen, literally, and therefore it was not possible for me to stay in Aberdeen as an on-site student. Consequently, through online learning, I had at the same time the opportunity to be based on site in the university in the south, and at the same time to possess a connection with a Scottish university, and for me this was vital.
That's great. Thank you, Camilla. So you were actually right at the south side of the UK when you were studying with Plymouth, and you still took a course online with the University of Aberdeen. Did you stay in Plymouth through the whole of your studies, or are you now somewhere else in the world studying?
So at the beginning, I stayed in Plymouth, and after now I'm based in Rome because now I'm an Italian lawyer, and I obtain also the leadership of a course as an adjunct professor at University of Padua. So fundamentally now I'm based in Italy.
That's great. Thank you very much for those insights. Sounds like you've had a little bit of a different combination of weather to deal with as well, a bit between Plymouth and Italy. But yeah, it's great to hear that the flexibility has stayed with you throughout your studies. Sorry, can I ask anybody else want to answer that question as well? Vishar, you look like you're going to come in.
Yeah, so I was still working full time when I started working towards the master degree. I talked to my line manager at the time. She said that's money for you, but anything beyond that, like leave of absence, then we need to talk. So I just I'll take the path of least resistance and sign up for online courses. Initially, I didn't I didn't know whether I was going to go on to full master degree or not, but am always interested in economics and finance. So I took my first exams. Feedback came back very well, and the second one, then that's when the offer came in for the transfer.
That's really interesting, Vishar. And what was it that actually attracted you to the University of Aberdeen then?
It was I could start straight away, without well, to be fair, I think I might not don't let myself get carried away, but it's a process like any graduate admission, but you can start study straight away and let the administration catch up with you as you go on. So yes, like I was studying, I was doing exam, I was delivering some, I was learning, I was being assessed at the same time. Administration would just catch up what I need to do on the next step, whether what type of performance that I need to manage to achieve at each term. And at that point, they were recommending us like take one class at the time until we transfer to full master. So I took that advice, and then yeah, that's how it works for me.
That's really great. So I guess that flexibility of you being able to take that one course at a time to lead up into your master's and was helping it fit around the rest of your life. So what did a typical day look like for you as an online student at that time?
So I would I would go straight to work. Like I'm 7 hour ahead, but I will get up and wait for my first call, whether I'm in office or working from home. So I just grab, um, maybe I print out a few slides a few days before and read as I go along, and then I wait for. I think the economics of finance at that point had one lectures a week on Tuesday evening my time and morning Aberdeen time. So I keep that as a commitment that doesn't matter what happened in that week, client meeting, work commitment, or social commitment, I would have to make that to that lecture. But everything else, I would just have to make sure that I did some reading before I go to work. And if there's no lecture that scheduled that day, or anything else, so I would just continue to study or review the previous previous recorded classes that I didn't get to or went to and still didn't get to develop some ideas or understand something. Yeah.
That's great. Thank you very much for sharing that little bit of experience about how it was balancing working life and online study as well. I'm going to go to another student now because we haven't heard from you for a little while, Gabor. So I wonder, could you share your experience of that? Like, what attracted you to the University of Aberdeen, and then what was student life like for you once you started studying online?
Yeah, so what attracted me is I did my small research universities in the UK, and actually, the University of Aberdeen was the only one I found that I could start right away. So I had a comment on Vishar's, um, uh, let's say, advantage that I could start right away. And that was really good. In my case, all the courses that I was interested in were both starting in September and January. So I had freedom, let's say, to choose how do I plan my route and which courses I take first. Um, and that kind of flexibility was great. So also I am working full time. So to me, this was quite a decisive factor, let's say.
That's great. So you mentioned that you're working full time while you were studying. So how did that work for you? What was student life like? How did you balance it with the rest of your life?
Well, sometimes it was tough because I like to look up extra research papers or books. So I spent some time, but this was actually really good because I had the time to do that. So I didn't really have to align on a daily basis, I had almost always full weeks I could dedicate to studies, and I could make my time as I want. Um, and well, student life, we had a great discussion board. So we communicated with other students, and it happened that with one student, we were thinking such alike that we continued this conversation elsewhere out of the discussion boards. So this is also quite a nice experience for me.
That's really great. So it sounds like you were able to make friends even though you weren't in the same part of the world as well, then, yeah.
Yeah, true.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing those insights as well. I guess we'll maybe go over to Camilla for a little bit too and just kind of hear more from her. Um, Camilla, what kind of advice would you give someone who's maybe considering starting the short course route with the University of Aberdeen?
Yes, thank you. So my suggestion is start and
Sorry to come
well,
in. Your mic, could you maybe just
sorry,
move it closer?
better.
Thank you. That's brilliant.
Yeah, my suggestion is to start because I started with a short courses and with a short course, and in September, after I decided to add a further short course, and after 1 year, my decision was to move to a postgraduate program, and so-called LLM, Master of Laws, because again, my short courses are in law and specifically dispute resolution. So in any case, my suggestion, my recommendation is start because it's an amazing journey. You have the opportunity to shape your own experience in online learning in one of the best university in the UK, and so I think that it is great for everyone.
That's great. Thank you very much. I think that's really helpful advice as well, because I think we all have those times in life, don't we, when we've got a goal that we want to reach towards to, and starting is often the thing that you need to do, right? So I guess as Gabor or Vishar, do either of you have any advice that you'd like to share with the people listening today who might be considering starting the short course route with the University of Aberdeen?
I'll go next. So I think the main thing is to study what align to your existing interests. But on the other hand, is to prepare yourself really a little bit. We're not expecting to be a PhD economics on the first day that we start our short course, or PhD in whatever discipline you choose. So just grab a book or enroll in some online short courses which are free or low cost. And then, for example, for economics, I took some online courses with like on Coursera to get myself to know like how to read economics paper, what an economics paper looks like. When I have to write one, then I would know how to. I'm not starting from the blank, but just prepare as much as you can, but just try, at the same time, don't feel bad if you can't really do as much as you think. But the main thing is to get used to studying whatever you are studying.
That's really interesting insight, Vishar. So I guess you like to be prepared then in the things that you're doing. And I feel like for your experience, had it been a while since you studied before you jumped back into study the short course route?
I start. It's not. It wasn't. There wasn't a lot of time between my last university course and
Sure.
this. The first course, economics and finance. I finished. I think it was for political philosophy at University of Oxford.
Okay.
That at level 1 undergrad. So there was a bit of time between me studying that and starting at University of Aberdeen. But before
Hmm.
that, it was quite a long time that before I started studying. So again, this time. So um, yeah, I would say that I would like to be prepared to study something and to prepare to do something. So there wasn't a lot of time passing, but before, so I get used to writing an essay or doing something straight away.
That's really
And
good.
yeah,
Sorry, I maybe cut you off there at the end. Sorry. Were you going to
don't
say
worry.
something else?
The main thing is to prepare. Not everyone want to commit to like an online course that require regular attendance or regular interval, but I think most self-paced resources like Coursera or reading a book would be good enough. I think I would might be a little bit over prepared.
That's good though. It's good to be prepared, isn't it? And I think as well, so for some of the people that are listening, when you haven't been studying for quite a long time and you're considering getting back into that, the tips that you just gave there are really important for people that maybe want to or feel like they want to learn a little bit more or boost their confidence before they jump into something more long term or bigger. So thank you for sharing those insights. Can I hand over to Gabor now and see if there's any advice that you have for anybody who's considering studying?
What helped me is I put little calendar placeholders for myself. First of all, not to forget that I have a discussion board to complete or any exams or something, but also some study time. It helped structure my day, especially if I am working daytime and studying in the evening. That helped a lot. So yeah, I can definitely recommend that.
That's great. Thank you very much. Well, I guess now it's probably time for us to open out to some other questions from the audience. So, Gareth, can I hand back over to you?
You absolutely can, and fantastic questions and answers already, guys. So keep them coming in. Um, Camilla, if it's okay, if I can start with you. A student has asked, I love that Camilla is now an Italian lawyer. Was that always the plan? Was the plan always the same? So I think Lisa and yourself mentioned earlier, I think you were in Plymouth, and then did your short course, and now you're in Rome. Was that always the plan, or was it a little bit spontaneous?
So thank you very much for the question. And it was spontaneous, of course, because again, when I started, I was not totally sure to be capable to finish the first short course. After I received marks, I understood that honestly I was able, so I can do it, and I decided to add a further short course. And I think that thanks to the interaction with the leader of this second course, and
Hmm.
thanks also um, to her support, I decided to move to a more structured program that is a master, and so to complete my learning journey. And an important factor was that through this specific short course, short course and master, I will have the opportunity to become a member of a professional body called the Chartered Institute of Arbitrators, and as an Italian lawyer, it is very important for me.
Excellent, thank you. Gabor, if I can come to you at this time, obviously, again, you mentioned your kind of experience as well. How I think you mentioned you're now in Berlin. I think you're still there. Again, what made you kind of do this? Many students are kind of asking the question, is it for me? Is it cost efficient? Does it act as like the next step before doing a master's? Is this something that you were aware of? So what I know you kind of answered it already, but were you aware of how important it would be when you first took the program? And likewise, how has that impacted on your career now?
Well, for me, I think it was a mix. I always knew I wanted to do this, but one day I just woke up and decided. So there was no like a long plan or planning phase prior. I just woke up, started research, and that's it. I was in. I really loved the short course route. also because I didn't formally qualified for the entry, for the normal entry, because my English language certificate is old and I didn't want to spend the extra money to have a new one just for this reason. So I thought this is easy and convenient. So then, yeah, I just decided, and it indeed helped me, not only now, but I think also during the studies, because as I learned new things on the way, I could use it right away in my work. And sometimes it was just one comment on a team meeting. Sometimes it was a whole project that I got the idea from the studies. And I think this also helped me perform academically. But in the meantime, in a weird way, it also helped my career to get from A to B. So to me, it was a real success story, I think.
Absolutely. Lisa, can I come to you at this point? It might be a Jenna question as well, to be fair. And Gabor mentioned there about the English proficiency tests. There'll be many students watching that will go, do I need the same level of English that I would for the main masters, the online masters? And likewise, if they haven't, if their employment is in English or they're from an English speaking country, such as Nigeria, let's say, will that be enough or do they still have to take the test?
That is a question for Jenna, you were right.
Yeah,
Yeah, so basically we've tried to make it as simple as possible for people to be able to get onto the short course route. So like I said through the presentation, to get onto a short course, you don't have to provide any formal English, like a formal, the words are not coming to me.
proficiency test
Thank
certificate.
you, Gareth. That's what I was looking for. So we effectively leave it up to you to be able to prove that. So I think a lot of people in Gabor's situation, in particular, have maybe had that test previously, but they maybe don't want to pay for it again, or they know themselves that they're able to meet those requirements. So if you complete 2 of our short courses or 30 credits worth of short courses, that is your proof that you would be able to cover the English language requirements for the programme. So
Excellent.
it's a recent change that we've made in the last year or so. We've kind of been petitioning for it for a long time because we kind of feel, if you've shown that you're able to complete your short course, you shouldn't then need to provide any further proof of your English language requirements.
Yeah, of course. And that's a fantastic offering as well, as you'll know, and students will know as well. It's so difficult not having the right level of English, and if you can prove it in other ways, that's fantastic. Okay, there's been quite a lot of questions around. I'm studying astronomy. I'm a Malawian student. I've got a bachelor's in agriculture. Can we talk about, and this is for Jenna and for Lisa again, can we talk about the types of program that they'll need to study at a bachelor's level? Because there have been students say, is this the same as a conversion course? So obviously you're kind of getting the required information and getting up to speed before you then go on and do your masters. Is it similar to that, or is it purely a case of this will just help you from the broader kind of sense get involved?
So it's not the same as a conversion course. We do conversion programs where if you've already got a master's degree, you can take
Yeah.
a conversion program to get another master's. Um, but it's basically a way that students can kind of dip their toe in the water to see whether they've got the ability to study at this level. We see a lot of people who have maybe studied at undergrad, have taken 20 years off and have not done any study since. So this is a great way for them to kind of test that theory, and also give them a little bit of confidence, because if you've not studied for that long, it can be really difficult to know whether you can cope with that level of study. But likewise, a lot of our short course students are people that have never done undergraduate study. They've been in industry for a long time, so they've got a lot
Yeah.
of industry experience. And this is their route in without them having to take an undergraduate degree to be able to progress.
Yeah, well said. I think that's really exciting as well. Again, that's two things really that makes it unique and a great opportunity. There are many unis, as students will know, are so rigid in terms of what they do. So the fact you've been pioneering this for some time now and it's come to the labours of its fruits is fantastic. So, A question coming, would I need to prepare a personal statement before starting the short courses? I know we've kind of been through that stage already. Or can I start on the course and then apply to transition onto the MSc? Does it all go hand in hand?
No, so when the short course route is a self-evaluation route. So we have some statements that you're agreeing to effectively. You're saying that you have the required level of English, that you feel that you can study at that level. You don't have to put in a statement at all. You log into our system, you pick the course that you want to do and you pay for it, and you will be enrolled onto that course. And the reason we do it that way is it's to give people the sort of exposure to that short course route. If you then pass the two 15 credit modules and you want to go on to the program, you apply for that slightly differently than you would if you were being a direct entrant to a program. So normally, if you were a direct entrant, it would be fairly common that you would have to put in a personal statement. This way, most of the time, that is not the case. We might have one-off occasions where it's maybe asked for, where the grade on your short course is maybe not as high as we would have liked it to have been for you to sort of move into the next stage. But on the whole, you apply for it differently, and we upgrade you kind of from an administrative perspective behind the scenes. So you don't go through that normal direct entry process.
Absolutely. Timings. Students have asked about. One question has come in. Timings. When do I do? Um, Now, obviously, the term starts are typically 3 or 4 times a year, but when can a student choose to do that? Can they obviously be flexible in terms of when that starts?
So predominantly our short courses at the moment start in September, January, or June. But we do have what we class as always on courses, and you're able to access them at any stage through the year. So if you were thinking about further education and you weren't really sure, you could take one of those access courses to see how that fits. But if it's the short course route to a program that you're looking at the moment, it would be September, January, and June. But we are looking to expand that into other times of the year as well to kind of make it as flexible as we possibly can.
Excellent. Okay, and a question, and we'll get back to the students very shortly. Just keen to get as many of these rolled out as possible, really. Questions were asked about students doing their short course, then going on to do their MSc. Does it have to be short course online, MSc online, or can it be short course online, then go and do your MSc on campus? Is there that flexibility, or is it done deliberately so it all kind of flows quite nicely?
So in theory, you could do online onto campus. The issue would be if there were visa requirements needed. So if you're in a country where you would need a visa to study, there are visa requirements that state that X percentage of your time needs to be on campus for you to get that visa. So if you've done too many credits online, you wouldn't qualify for that visa. So it very much is a case by case basis. If I use just a sort of a blanket, if you're in the UK, it's probably okay. But anywhere else where you would need a visa, we'd need to look at it on a case by case basis. So by all means, do get in touch with us, and my colleagues can pop in the email address into the chat as well if you've got any direct questions like that you want to discuss as well.
Excellent. And can I ask about and I know we're slightly going off tangent here with regards to the full MSc, but there is this old age myth that doing a program online doesn't have the same standing as it does on campus. Now, I kind of know the answer to that, of course, but do you just want to put students' minds at ease that actually does have the same standing? I think it did used to be the case about 30 years ago, but now they all hold the same level, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, from our perspective, 100% they do. I know that there are still some countries where there's maybe some concerns around whether an online degree and an on-campus degree are the same thing. In terms of the certificate that you get when you graduate, it will say that you did that degree. It doesn't say online or on campus on it. Your transcript will have that information, but from a certificate perspective, it won't. And we've definitely seen a cultural shift sort of worldwide around, and I think, that we can, a lot of bad things came from COVID, but I think because we had to move so swiftly to still be able to run, um, most people's perspective on that has totally shifted so that they understand it's the same class of qualification.
Excellent. Okay. Question has come on. Is it still possible to gain a master's through the short course route if I didn't manage to complete the final year of my undergrad degree? And I know you've kind of answered this already that you don't need to have that undergrad level. They obviously said it's due to illness, so they will have some understanding. That's kind of the beauty of this program, isn't it? Is how flexible it is. Doesn't matter whether you pulled out last year, you've not got any experience, whether or not you're working. That must be quite exciting knowing that you're going to get all different types of students from different sets of circumstances and background, all on one kind of program.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the reasons that this was invented in the first place was particularly for students that have maybe been in that situation. So for the vast majority of our programs that are a short course route to a program, you don't need an undergraduate qualification at all. I will caveat that by saying that some of them you do. There are a couple that you still do need that, but on the whole, you don't need it as long as you are able to complete those first two courses or 30 credits, um, and you apply, you'll be upgraded to that program. So yeah, it's a great thing, particularly for people that have had those unfortunate circumstances where it's not a fault of their own that that's happened as well. It can be really demoralizing to think, well, that's the end of it. I really wanted to go and do X, Y, Z, but I can't anymore. This just lets them in a different door, I suppose.
And I'm going to ask a question now, and I imagine to follow up, the students will want to come on and answer it as well. But being an online program, how do you make the students feel like they're part of a team? And ultimately, not just a number, because it can be very difficult, can't it? You know, especially when they're online, and it's always what they make it. But what would you suggest to those students that aren't quite sure, in two minds? Like, is that for me? Am I still going to feel lonely? Am I going to get the same level of education? And if I did it on course on campus, sorry. And then so I'll let you answer, Jenna. Then perhaps we get the students on and let them answer that as well.
Yeah, I think this is a kind of ongoing conversation that we have. For the vast majority of online students, it's not a question of should I do it on campus or should I do it online? It is I do it online or I can't do it at all. So, from caring commitments, work commitments,
Yeah,
all of those things that sort of take up times in our life. An on-campus degree doesn't normally give you the flexibility where you can sort of fit it in around everything else that you've got going on. So, it's something that we're really mindful of when it comes to online. And I think the biggest surprise for us sometimes with online is how great students are at engaging with each other. So there's a lot of formal things that are in place, like discussion boards, like Gabor was speaking about earlier. He sort of engaged with another student through that, but then they kind of took it offline. And that's the thing we see more and more. I mean, we've had some students on programs where they've set up a weekend away, and they're from all over the world, and they all made that decision that they were going to go and meet up so they can be face to face for that weekend. So I think it's have an open mind. You will get out of it what you want to get out of it, because we
yeah,
do have some online students, they don't want or need that interaction. They don't have the time to add something
yeah.
else in, but for the students that do want that interaction, there's lots of opportunities available for them for sure.
Excellent. I mean, if we can invite Camilla, Gabor, and Vachar back on, please, that would be great. Gabor, we've just touched upon it then, or Jenna just touched upon it then, in terms of your experience and how much that meant for you. How great was it for you that you positioned yourself in a way that you could get the most out of the program, being the character that you are?
Yeah, I mean, so to me, it was just like Jenna said, I can do it online or I cannot do it at
Yeah,
all. So first of all, that was really great that I could do it. And then once I was there, I figured everything myself, and it was so easy. It was easy to interact with people. It was easy to interact with the platform, the online platform we were learning with. So yeah, it just really, really helped. Also, it helped that I was not overwhelmed with a lot of exams. In my opinion, it was just the right amount. Or, all these administration that was also very smooth. So it really helped me to structure and focus on learning and how I can implement this learning into my daily work life.
excellent. And yourself, Camilla, do you just want to elaborate further on that in terms of, I mean, clearly for yourself, you obviously gone from Plymouth to Italy, so you're not shy of perhaps getting out there and trying new things. So, how much of an impact did it have on your education, the fact that you were able to communicate and try these different things?
Yes, so thank you very much. And fundamentally, online was essential for me. Otherwise, I would not have the opportunity to start to finalize this specific route. Additionally, online courses are amazing about organization of your agenda, because at the start of the term, that is September or January, you have every kind of information on your hands, and you're in a position to plan your agenda, your commitments, your engagements, and of course you can perfectly manage them. Additionally, I believe that support offered by staff, both academic and administrative, is fantastic. I can add that the School of Law at the University of Aberdeen is extremely vibrant, because there are often webinars offered both online and on site. Therefore, if you are an online student, you have the opportunity to follow these webinars. Sometime, often, and all of these run on Teams, and you can perfectly be engaged in academic environment with the utmost updated debate on a specific topic. So I think that paradoxically, you are more engaged if you are an online student instead of if you are an on-site student, and this is my experience.
Great, thank you. And Vishal, yourself as well. Obviously, we've heard a fair bit in terms of the background and your whereabouts today, but how important is it to understand and know that other people are in the same position as you?
So I'm always in constant contact with university throughout the day, regardless how my day goes. So on so as things are moving online more and more, so we have like at University of Aberdeen, we're not limited to just our lecture that meets once a week or once a month or whatever, but it's more than that. We have like to feel part of the community, I participate in like writing workshop for postgraduate student as well, which is sometimes later this today. And then we have staff student liaison committee that meet regularly for at least for the business skill. Depending on the relationship you have with your lecturer or particular staff, some of them are okay with you tapping chatting to them on Microsoft Team, or other would prefer email first before set up a meeting. So it's almost like a real university. It's a real university experience. It's just happened on Microsoft Team and a few other apps.
Okay, excellent. Okay, thank you for that, Vishal. Elisa, we're nearing the end now, and I think I've gone through all of the questions. I suppose the big question for students would be, and this is a very loaded question, so apologies, is how does one go about applying? If they're unsure, they get stuck, what should they do? And in terms of, we've heard about the intake dates already, but it's guessing communication is so important here.
Sure, yeah. So, first of all, I think we've already dropped a link in the chat earlier on
Yeah.
about how you can see the short course route programs in particular, but we have a lot of other programs on offer too. So, the best way to have a look and figure out what you want to study first of all, and then look at applying for, is to visit our website, and we will drop that in the chat as well. Um, and then in terms of the communication side of it, if anyone has any questions that they haven't felt that they've been answered today, then it's a case of reaching out to our team by email, which I did. I actually dropped a message in the chat just a few minutes ago with that information. So hopefully people can pick that up from there then. But I guess in terms of communication, Gareth, once you're then logged in and signed up, our team are pretty good at communicating when things are happening, especially around intakes that are coming up and stuff like that as well. But yeah. I think that's answered your question. Is there
Yeah,
anything else that you want to touch
yeah,
on there?
I'm sure from a student's perspective as well, it's important that they communicate themselves because it's all very
Absolutely.
well putting the pressure on you guys, but ultimately, if they don't open up and talk to you, it can be quite daunting, and therefore, you're on the back foot straight away on your program. So again, important, I'm guessing, for the students to make sure they do open up and they do talk and they're honest with themselves with what they want to achieve because you can't help them unless they tell you ultimately. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think the more questions, the merrier, I think is kind of how we put it. Because obviously, if you reach out to us and you've got something that you're not sure on, then hopefully we can actually give you that information that helps you make that decision. Because ultimately, we want you to succeed as well in life. We want to help you reach your goals. And I think all of our team are really passionate about that. In particular, helping support people who are trying to fit in something that is a goal for them alongside their work life or their home life or whatever other responsibilities that life brings to them. So yeah, I would say that's it. Reach out.
Yeah,
Definitely reach out.
reach out, communicate, and if you're not sure, please just let anyone know, whether it's ourselves, whether you want to go directly at the team to Lisa, Jenna, or students, please get a feel of what it's all about with them. Okay, I think we're there. Thank you very much. Everyone involved, Jenna, Lisa, those in the background answering questions as well, they're really the heroes that we don't really see or hear. And to the three students as well, Camilla, Gabor, and Vachari, thank you for your time today. Really appreciate you taking 55 minutes to an hour out of your time beforehand to really share your experiences. So best of luck for the future. And please do keep in touch and let us know how you get on. But for now, thank you everyone. Take care. Bye bye.